right, and let's go ahead and jump into it. Looks like they're still rolling the die. It's going to be game number 1 here of the World Championship Point Playoff Qualifier.
I'll take first.
All right, looks like Steven is going to be going first. That's pretty huge going up against a combo deck like this Kashtira Vanadium deck.
Well, I think I saw enough. There was a Gozen match and a Martha.
Can I read?
See, I think both these players were trying to surprise their opponents with the cards that not necessarily going to be familiar with. I don't like. I think there was more of a chance of Patrick being familiar with Steven's deck. I think there's very little chance of Steven being familiar with Patrick's deck, but if Exosister is just able to resolve its natural play, it might be enough, because Magnifica can do so much.
Yeah, I mean, if Hoban isn't familiar with Exosisters, I think it could be a little dangerous for him.
Oh, but there is an Ash Blossom on the Martha. That's a huge choke point there.
Yeah, he's going to need a combination of other names, and there
all
is...
of them have the same last effect where if you move a card from the grave.
I think that is Ellis.
Martha is if either player moves a card from the grave.
Okay.
Activate the effect, attempt to special summon.
Oh, that lets you special summon from the hand. Going to special summon that Martha that got ashed. So the goal of Exosister is to get 2 level 4s on the field, so you can go into a rank 4 to go into Michaelis.
The banish to turn it summoned only.
Okay.
And then if you use Exosister's material, and then effectively detach to search for an Exosister's spell trap.
Okay.
So he's going to use not Magnifica.
Michaelis.
Magnifica's the bigger one. It's actually the only Exosisters. There's an S on the end there because there's 2 of them, and they're both of the sisters, which is kind of cool. But Michaelis is going to add Venatus.
Is that Vadis?
Sure, we'll have a lot of this from both of them.
Returnia or Venatus? It looked like Venatus.
I think there is already a copy Returnia in Steven's hand. Yeah, it looks like his hand is going to be Gozen Match, Forbidden Lance, Returnia, and Vadis. Or is there only 3?
And so this tags out if I move something from.
Yeah, it looks like that is his
hand.
hand.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So this doesn't do anything on my turn?
No. Only if it's turn summon, it's a quick effect to banish.
Okay.
Steven doing a good job here explaining all his effects to Hatrick.
Yeah, the effects that are currently face up. Hasn't explained that when he summons the 2 Exosisters from his deck, and there's a card moved from the graveyard, you get to use them as rank 4. So definitely it's going to be a little scary for him here, not if he doesn't know what the cards do that well. But this isn't the strongest start, but as you mentioned, that Gozen match, laying in waits, could really end this duel quite quickly.
I think having both traps is just already significantly strong, especially if Patrick's not. He seems unfamiliar. So if he decides to move any card from the graveyard and the Vadis is chained, as you mentioned, that is going to be a huge swing. Oh, opening with the Reichphobia as well. Not necessarily what you want to open.
Yeah, though you have a Link 1 called Lightheart that you're able to add that card from your deck to your hand, so drawing it, not fantastic.
Attention players, there's 5 minutes left. Check in after you have
Yeah, Scarecrow Lightheart is one of my favorite cards. I just love the way he looks. A little chibi version.
Yeah, he's, I guess, for being the only Link heart monster, he's just very different compared to all the rest. But then there's the namesake of all the hearts, Visa Starfrost.
Add that to the hand.
So the ability of the Manadiums is when they're destroyed, they're able to summon another copy of themselves from the deck, which pairs really well with something like Visa's, right?
Oh yeah, definitely. And we do see one of those Manadium tuners. That's Manadium Meek. So Meek is going to have that effect, be able to special summon from the deck. And then it can also change the level of itself by 2, I believe.
Yeah.
Oh, and that is enough.
Gozen match ends the game quickly.
I imagine a lot of them are... What attribute is Meek?
Light, I think.
Okay, and
but there's really nowhere you can go. I don't think. Like Vsauce is also light.
Because like the main deck monsters, I feel are mostly light, except for the Kashtira monsters. But I think everything in the extra deck you just won't be able to access.
Yeah, it's definitely a tough one. Realizing, he doesn't have any spell and trap removal. Doesn't want to really waste. The big thing is you just don't want to waste time, right? Time is a resource when you're playing. So definitely being able to go the next game. Maybe if he's not as familiar with it, you maybe want to try to force out more stuff from the spell and trap card zones, but not the biggest of deals.
I think if he had plays and was able to play into the field a little bit more, when you're unfamiliar with the strategy like he seems to be, I think he would want to see what the trap cards are going to do. I think he could have pushed for a little bit more information there, but also getting the time is pretty important.
True. But now it's going to be Patrick's turn to go first, which is going to be huge. Maybe we'll get to see his cool combo. I mean, Exosister is going to be one of those decks that can side cards like Dimensional Shifter, which is fantastic. I think it's Vanadium. The Meeks need to go to the graveyard. But it's not just Vanadium, and we're just talking about that aspect of it, but there's also Kashtira cards in his deck. So I feel like if he draws, depending on what part of his deck he draws, his turn 1 boards can be quite different.
Yeah, I'm looking at the extra deck here. If you were to be forced to play just Kashtira, how deep do you think he's going to go?
just in a Rise Heart. I think it's a very, I would imagine he has a very small Kashtira package, just for maybe like you can go into Unicorn, into Fenrir, into Rise Heart, and then just do like in a Rise Heart or something, on top of then doing your whole Monadium. As long as you can avoid using Theosis, I don't think it's going to disrupt like the Monadium part of it. Maybe he makes the choice, like, oh, I'm either going to Theosis or I'm going to do my Synchro Summons and stuff, but I'm not certain. I haven't seen this deck in action, really. I don't know. This is kind of like a new one onto the scene.
Yeah, definitely something.
Like the combination of the two together.
Yeah, out of the box for sure. But I'm excited to see just what's going to happen when Patrick's allowed to go first. Assuming there's not a Shifter.
Shifter is one heck of a card.
I'll start.
Good luck.
To be fair, I think because there are so many Kashtira cards in the deck, if you do get Shifted, you can certainly do a good amount, right?
Oh yeah, certainly.
Steven said earlier that he actually prefers the Kashtira matchup, which I'm very surprised about. I mean, look at the Exosister cards that are so focused on dealing with graveyard effects. How would you have a good Kashtira matchup? But clearly he has something figured out.
He definitely has. I mean, he's doing well here. One game win away from making it to the World Championship. That is just incredible. You know, he looks cool, calm, and collected, so maybe he's not even, you know, feeling those nerves. But if he wins just one more game, like, that's a ticket to Japan.
I mean, having that one game up, it has to feel comfortable, right?
Oh, yeah. It definitely feels good to win game one. You never want to get reverse 2-0'd either. You don't want to have to win the back two. But it looks like the players are ready. It's game number 2 of our point playoff finals, semifinals. But either way, it's basically the finals. The winner of this is done. They're going to the World Championship. And then we have one more semifinal match after this.
Steven checking his hand if there's a copy of Shifter in it, I imagine.
It looks like no Shifter.
Not yet, at least.
Could be holding it.
That's fine.
There is the Unicorn.
Yep.
All right, time to see the Kashtira part of the deck. Kashtira Unicorn. You can special summon if you don't control any monsters, and it lets you add a Kashtira spell from your deck to your hand.
I feel like Steven is visibly confused because he did not expect any Kashtira cards to this point.
I didn't even notice the visible confusion, but yeah, it hasn't. That look has not left his face. Oh, and then you can almost see the thoughts, like, oh, I guess he's playing Kashtira too. Interesting. And now he's like probably wondering why do these decks work together? What is his combo? Yeah, I just wonder what he's going for. Did I side right? Just if I had to guess, if I had to jump into Steven's head.
Yeah, I think that is the biggest thing, right? Because Patrick conceded so early, he didn't really get to see any of his deck, and probably sided out all the hate that you would ever go into Kashtira, and might just have nothing for the matchup now.
That would be hilarious.
Side deck, I think. Nothing on risk.
All right, so Unicorn's going to add Kashtira Birth here.
Is it just going to be a classic Birth into Fenrir play? Are we going to extend with some Vanadium cards now? Oh, it looks like there's already a copy of Rise Heart in the hand as well. Rykovia again.
Keeps opening that one up that he's not trying to draw. It's not a terrible card. It's still one of the field spells, but you'd much certainly rather add it to your hand than activate it.
Yep.
I mean, you'd eventually activate it if you add it to your hand, but right off the bat. But yeah, here goes Visa Starfrost.
Yeah, just not being free, a little expensive. See if he normal summons maybe a copy of Meek here. Oh, choosing to normal summon the Rise Heart. Not choosing special summons because that does lock you into Exosister, I believe.
I think that and Theosis are both the ones that do it.
Oh, and because it is a heart monster, yeah, he is able to special summon the Meek here.
We're seeing the synergies now. I forgot, yeah, so the Monadium monsters, they can all special summon themselves if you control...
monster with 1,500 and 2,100 defense.
Or Visa Starfrost.
Speaking of...
I have no choice.
So Visa's going to be able to destroy the Meek. Meek's going to trigger, special summoning another copy of itself from the deck.
I think we're seeing the bridge between these two strategies.
There's still a Birth sitting in the hand, probably going to be able to just
bring
reborn
something back.
Yeah.
Synchro again or something. That's cool. I like this. I like the inspiration.
Yep.
Let's see what kind of board this makes. Because, as we mentioned earlier, this isn't your typical start. You don't want to start with the Rykovia field spell. You usually want to start with the actual Vanadium theme planet.
Peaceful Planet Clavarium, yeah.
So that's like a few extending monsters that you don't have.
He also drew the Vsauce, so he didn't have to search that either.
No, I believe the Rykovia did search Vsauce.
Oh, yeah, that is what he got with Rykovia. You're right. You can also get Scareclaw Cashier of that, I believe, too.
Yeah,
if he's playing it.
Oh, he absolutely is.
Yeah, which is kind of cool. Okay, Vsauce is light. I was like, I'm pretty sure Vsauce is light when he conceded that last game. I think it's really cool because this, like, using Kashtira and these are both Visa Starfrost like lore strategies that can work together. Like, if you look at Rise Heart, he has that blue arm, and I'm like, I swear that's from Visa Starfrost. I can't say for certain.
I think that makes sense. So Meek using its ability to change its level, coming out as a level 4, synchroing with the Rise Heart here. Looks like he's trying to go into Saffron Lord Omega.
Until 5 p.m. As a reminder,
He probably used the Meek effect to increase the level, so it's a 4-star tuner.
Oh, actually going for Axel Synchro.
Yep, Excel Synchro Stardust Dragon on summon can bring back a level 2. Synchro then again for a level 10. That has really changed the game for Synchro decks. Being able to go into a level 8 then climb into a level 10 is just fantastic.
Now, you guys at home might be wondering why every monster is being summoned in defense. All the Scareclaw monsters have effects, or not necessarily the monsters, but the field spell as well as the Heart monster has an additional bonus effect if there are 3 monsters in defense position.
Anywhere on the field. So you can get, so you're playing against the Scareclaw, you got to want to keep, or Monadium, you want to keep that in mind and not summoning your monsters in defense mode. You can make things a little easier for them, but most of the time they can get at the monsters in defense mode themselves. Yep. But he summons Bestial Dispatter, which will be used later on, and he's
using
going to
the Bird Summon back Rise. You don't see that very often.
You don't see Monadium Kashtira very often either, so see where this goes. So, oh, this is how he gets the 2 level 10s, because it just brings back the Rise Heart. So he has a level 6 tuner, level 4 monster. So it's all about Rise Heart, actually. Rise Heart is the bridge on these 2 strategies.
I imagine it's not just about it, but it just so happens to work this way.
I mean, it's the heart, the heart and soul of the deck.
I'm gonna no. Yep.
Really contemplating his options here.
Just chilling.
I feel
Patrick seems to be overwhelmed with options.
I'm gonna link this up.
Like he's opting to go for the
Link for Lightheart?
Yeah, which makes sense because you get. Oh, actually no, because normally this gets the field spell, which gets you access to Reichheart, but now you have to have it normally to get access to Scareclaw Arrival to bring back that Visas. But maybe now he's going to go into something along the lines of Cross Sheep with the Unicorn and the Lightheart, because the Lightheart can be linked with, right? I remember that being a part of the thing for Curious Plays back in the day.
Yeah, it doesn't have that restriction where you can't use it in a Link Summon to turn it summoned or anything. Yeah,
like one of the cards I'm truly looking forward to see. Oh, it looks like he's going to be using the Rise Heart here. Imagine going into Cross Sheep because he's going to be able to banish the Rise Heart as well as the Visas to summon the Vicious Astrolabe.
And then by banishing those, he'll have something to summon back with the Bestial Dispatter. So pretty cool. Yeah. He's about to summon one of my favorite cards, Vicious Astrolabe. It's so cool. When I first read it, I was like, wait, I can just summon this 3,000 multiple of them per turn. It's not once per turn to summon. You just have to banish a Visa Starfrost and a monster with those heart stats, that 1,500 attack and 2,000 defense from the graveyard. And then you can special summon Vicious Astrolabe. And on summon, you can destroy a card on the field. It can trigger something like Cross Sheep, as we're going to see here. It's quite a cool card.
Yeah, very useful going second, but obviously very strong going first, being able to combo off. Likely being able to summon back a level 2 tuner here, going into another level 10 synchro. The spotter going to be able to summon back the Visas as well now? I assume that's what you go for?
Maybe.
Just so you have
Baron
access to another.
Just,
well, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, after. You're just assuming that's the next step.
I assume if you're going to pick one of those types to summon off the spotter, that would be the one, because you put it back in the grave. You can summon another Vicious later.
Ooh, that is really cool.
Yep.
So yeah, again, not the strongest opening, but clearly doing quite a lot here.
Sure.
Yeah, I mean, you just kind of wonder if, like, because he started with Unicorn, right? Unicorn?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, is this better than a Unicorn board from a pure Kashtira deck? Arguable.
I mean, currently there's no Arise Heart, so I don't think so.
I'm gonna pass.
This looks like a Dragon Link board currently.
This does look like a lot like a Dragon Link board, but he still has, so the points of interaction, he has the Unicorn, he has the Birth that they activate a spell, he can banish from grave, which probably won't come up.
Yep.
The Unicorn could help taking out like a Magnifica, maybe. Dispatter, if he can at least negate an effect by shuffling back his own card. Or it destroys if it's your own card, negates if it's their card.
Yes.
So you can destroy a card, which isn't going to help. That Imperm is going to stop his one negate in Baron.
And there's a Dark Hole.
He didn't make the Ice Jade. We saw him in his previous match we were watching make an Ice Jade for one of the level 10s. This time he made Baron. I guess it would have been the same result.
And there's the Pax. It gets to get the Martha.
Oh my gosh, what a hand. This is dangerous. Steven can smell Japan right now. He activated Infinite Permanence, Dark Hole, Pax. Pax, you pay 800, but you get Exosister Martha. Martha, you're going to be able to reveal in the hand, special summon an Exosister from your deck, and special summon itself from your hand, all in one effect.
Now, remind me, is this not just 8,000 damage by using Magnifica to like attack twice?
I think it could be. Especially if he has another monster.
Oh, there's another. It's going to be able to summon another monster for his hand? Does he have all 4?
I see a Book of Moon. What a hand here for Steven.
I mean, he can easily grab another monster right now by overlaying 2 of these. Looks like it's opting to go for Spell Trap first by summoning Michaelis.
Search. I'm going to detach this.
Carson Franks, Ivan Guzman, and Jesse Helvig. Your event is starting without you.
See what he decides to add going through looking. Looks like he's going to Returnia.
Mm-hmm. Some safety there.
Yeah, Returnia lets you banish a card if you have an Xyz monster. It also banishes when you activate it. I believe you can get the additional one if you have the Xyz monster.
Lots of setup here. And this is like one of the big concerns of playing these big, heavy combo decks. If something happens to answer the field, there's not a whole lot of follow-up anymore. There's at least the birth to get access to Unicorn, and so like you have the longevity of the Kashtira engine. But I imagine there's not a whole lot left that Patrick has going on.
I think he just has a Kashtira Fenrir in his hand also.
Legal, like it's not cheating anything out or anything. Or if I've already Exorcised something this turn, then I can banish a card in your field non-targeting.
Okay. But you can't banish the second card if you didn't already exceed this turn?
Correct, yes. You're at full, correct?
Yep.
You know what the crazy thing is? I believe there's one copy of Darkhold in Steven's deck to get off thrust.
Oh man, he didn't even draw the thrust, which would have been much worse there. He happened to draw the hard copy of Darkhold. Oh man.
No.
I will activate Michaelis, target this dimension.
Up using it, and that moves a card from the graveyard.
Effect of Martha, since a card moved from your graveyard to special.
I think this might be.
Thinking.
I mean, I'm sure he's going to go into Capital, right?
That's Patel. Is that the one that searches the monster?
I believe so.
Effect near click and special from the grave this turn. Mandatory effect. Effect to search an Exosister monster.
Yep.
Grabs another Martha.
Getting that follow-up for next turn. Now he does have 2 ranked 4 Exosisters on the field. So he might be looking to overlay both of them.
That looks like a Magnifica to me.
Yep, and here comes Exosister Magnifica. And this monster can attack twice since there's 2 monsters on it. It's the sisters.
You're at 24.
That is attack for 56. Can she use her effect now to swap out? Or are there limitations on that?
What does this do? What does this do?
I think it requires your opponent to do something.
And then if you act non-targeting on your field.
Banish from field?
Yes. And then if you activate a card or effect, I can activate this effect. It will return one of the ones underneath it to the extra deck, and then immediately special summon it using just this card's material.
And that is why Hoban lives for now.
Okay. So and then these have effects on
this one locks, you play can special summon from grave the turn. This one's a quick effect banish from the grave or field targets.
Okay.
That's a lot.
I like how efficiently he explains what the Exosister cards do.
He's had to do it every round.
He's like, I've done this so many times. He's a master, not only of the deck, but explaining what his cards do.
Then I will pass to you.
Using Magnifica to detach to banish the birth, removing that follow-up there.
All right. We know Hoban has Fenrir plus 1 other card. Facing down 3 Spell and Trap cards and this Magnifica. Yeah, that's an I'm probably lost, I think. It's going to be close.
Like, just the Magnifica alone is already so hard to deal with. But there are 3 sets, including a card that we know. Like, as soon as the Magnifica is used, that Returnia is going to be just paying dividends. And there is the Scareclaw Kashtira.
No Pathiosis in the grave. I no response.
Yep, just going to allow that to happen real quick. So I imagine if you're doing this first, the other card in your hand isn't Fenrir.
Yeah, I thought it was, but maybe it's been Scareclaw. I just thought I got a glimpse of it. Maybe he just wanted to try and force out a banish, though, and then follow it up with Fenrir? Because I mean, he did force out the Returnia immediately.
And then he could just banish, right?
Yes.
And that's it. Hoban is going to get defeated, and Steven, fresh off that remote duel YCS win, is going to take this match